Hello YouTube, Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting and a Fan. And yes, I have my lighting, I have my fan. How you doing? So it's been a long time since I've done a video that had nothing to do with the Pride Tarot Collaborative deck. Also, April 2024 has been especially abundantly full for my professional psychic practice. So I am once again catching up on YouTube videos. It is my pleasure to present Llewellyn's 2024 Tarot Calendar April 2024 entry. And of course, as you all know in YouTube land, and as Drake, who is more commonly known as my awesome audiovisual person for my YouTube videos, knows all too well, there will be close-ups. So here is the beautiful, gorgeous front of the calendar. And I really dig the black and the gold. I really dig that. And this is the back of the card. The back of the card. I always make that mistake. The back of the calendar. And now I'm going to show you April 2024. And yes, there is a spread, so I will be casting the cards. So we have the Strength card from the Steampunk Fairy Tarot. We have one of the symbols on the card. We have an article called Dedicated Decks, which I must admit gave me a lot to think about since I don't usually do dedicated decks. Although I will mention one before we get to the Inner Healing spread. And yes, I am using a tarot deck published by Llewellyn Publications for this spread, which I'll get to in a little while. So the focus is the Strength card from the Steampunk Fairy Tarot. And clearly Durga has some strong opinions about that card, since it does depict a lion. Well, traditionally. Now, in the words of the Barbara Moore, the Visconti Tarot's Strength card, more commonly known as the Visconti Sforza Tarot deck, shows a character beating a lion. How rude. Which illustrated that culture's value of controlling one's base nature. These days, we approach our shadow selves with more compassion, which most modern decks show. And once again, Durga has opinions about that. Thank you. And there goes the close-up of Durga. So sorry, YouTube. Next time. Okay, and one of the symbols is the foreheads touching. I love how the Strength card from the Steampunk Fairy Tarot depicts a fairy touching foreheads with a steampunk dragon. The gentle contact of their foreheads, as in their third eyes, represents coming to a shared understanding of each other. The fairy doesn't try to kill or control, just understand and accept. Isn't that right, Durga? Yes. Now, dedicated decks. Some people dedicate different decks to specific topics such as love, career, and finances, spiritual explorations, and shadow work. If you work with crystals, use them to focus or dedicate your deck to a specific purpose. A deck for love can be stored with rose quartz. A deck for finances, citrine, also known as citrine quartz. A deck for spiritual concerns, amethyst, which is also a member of the quartz family of crystals. If you don't have dedicated decks, you can still use an appropriate crystal on your reading table. Two things about that. So first, I don't remember the name of it. I think it's called the Plastic Tarot, but Tracy the Reader brought it for the Moon, Serpent, and Bone 6th Annual Ostara Night Market. And she mentioned that this is her deck for romantic relationships. And it was so funny because it was part of a Kickstarter campaign. And it is based on Mean Girls, the movie mainly. And the other thing that I wanted to mention is that, generally speaking, when I offer readings at a public venue, I bring crystals that correspond to the blessings that I want those clients to receive. So since one of my favorite blessings to give a client is financial prosperity, I bring crystals that bestow that property, such as citrine quartz, amethyst, green aventurine, etc. Oh, and pyrite, of course. I also want all of my clients to experience emotional healing, so rose quartz, green aventurine, amazonite, psychic ability, so moonstone, and labradorite, as well as amethyst, and of course protection, so black onyx, black tourmaline, black obsidian, hematite, one of my personal favorite psychic self-defense crystals. And Durga, you look super cute, but I'm going to cast the cards in a little bit, so you know what that means. Now, the inner healing spread. Wounds hide a part of ourselves that we need to complete our soul's purpose in this lifetime. I'm going to read that a little more slowly. I'm going to reread that, but this time a little more slowly. Wounds hide a part of ourselves that we need to complete our soul's purpose in this lifetime. To liberate and integrate that needed part, we have to heal the wound so we can get close enough to that part to understand it, accept it, and embrace it. Approach your wounds gently, with love. I'm so sorry, Durga. I'm going to need for you to get off the table. And I'm going to need Drake to assist me with Thank you, Durga. Oh, YouTubeLand. For those of you who have cats, you know. Okay. So, it's a 5-card spread. Card number 1, a wound that needs healing. Card number 2, how this wound controls or disrupts the collective's life. Card number 3, what keeps it open or stops it from healing. Card number 4, how to approach the healing. And card number 5, how healing will change things. Or more specifically, how this healing will change things. So I am using the Tarot of Dragons, written by Shawn Mackenzie and illustrated by Firat Solhan. And I believe I am mispronouncing Firat Solhan's first name and surname, and I apologize in advance for that. I'm giving this a quick shuffle. I've shuffled this deck 2 or 3 times prior to beginning this video, so okay. 3 piles. I'm putting the 3 piles back as I'm being guided and led. Card number 1, card number 2, card number 3, card number 4, and card number 5. The bottommost card is the card that represents what to understand, as well as the hidden message, as well as the final message. And this is for the collective. So card number 1, a wound that needs healing. It is the 6 of Pentacles. So it is a physical wound and or a financial wound. 6 of Pentacles, since it's a Pentacles card, it absolutely is an indication of a wound that affects our body. It could be a wound that has been exacerbated because of medication. For example, blood thinners prevent clots, but they also make it more challenging for bleeding to be shortened because blood thinners thin the blood, and so it prevents clotting. So it could be something along those lines. If it is a financial wound, one could say that this is a financial mistake, maybe one that you still experience guilt because of it happening. It could be a financial mistake that you made because you either ignored your intuition or you didn't have enough information. And yes, Bast is another one of those cats that prefers to be heard but not seen. No sock in her mouth? What a surprise. Okay. I'm going to keep going forward. So this is the first card, which again represents a wound that needs healing. So it is a physical wound or it is a financial wound. Card number 2. I'm going to turn it over so that you can see it upright in YouTube land. And I presume that it's close to, it's a good close-up. Thank you, Drake. Drake is more commonly known as my awesome audiovisual person for my YouTube videos. This is card number 2. How this wound controls or disrupts the collective's life. It is also a Pentacles card. So that's very interesting. So because it is another Pentacles card, it definitely gets in the way of physical healing, short-term and long-term. It gets in the way of completing the healing process. And because Pentacles also relate to financial matters, I would also say, hello, you who needs a new name because you're not female, you're male. That's one of the kittens. So it's also an indication of there could be an attachment or a continued holding on to poverty consciousness, to the negative emotions that are associated with that financial mistake. And remember, 7 in the Chaldean Hebrew Kabbalah system of numerology represents mystery, spirituality, dreams, and dreams that come true. Actually, the number 2 corresponds to dreams and dreamtime states, but number 7 corresponds to dreams coming true. So it could be that the negative emotions that are still connected to this wound or this financial mistake are preventing you and the collective from bringing this dream to come to pass and to come true. Card number 3. What keeps this wound open or stops it from healing? The Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords for several years has come to represent to me the spiritual warrior. So when I looked at the Knight of Swords, what immediately came to my mind was that what keeps this wound open or stops this wound from healing is ignoring one's intuition. So have you in YouTube land been ignoring your intuition? Have you been dismissing your intuition? Have you been using logical override about how something doesn't, how because your intuition is telling you something that doesn't make any sense, you're just overriding it with logic when your intuition is guiding you to the solution to your problem? Card number 4, how to approach the healing. 2 of Cups, a trusted friend, a confidant, a mentor, an advisor, a psychic reader perhaps, but somebody that always, always, always has your best interests at heart and will always, always, always be very honest with you no matter what. And you know, it's funny because I almost always automatically think of 2 cards as partnerships, but I'm remembering the words of the Barbara Moore from previous Llewellyn's tarot calendars. 2s are also about choices. So there's a possibility of you choosing to listen to somebody who's always had your best interests at heart and choosing not to listen to the person who hasn't. FYI. And card number 5, how healing will change things. 3 of Swords. Well, one thing that will change is you'll no longer feel heartbroken. You'll no longer feel sad. You'll no longer feel depressed. Now, I need to be careful with the last part of what I said because I am aware that depression is a clinical condition. It needs to be clinically diagnosed. It is natural for some people to feel depressed from time to time, but to be clinically diagnosed as being depressed or having depression is a totally different thing. And I am not suggesting that that was, well, her previous name was Hathor, and now it's going to be Sekhmet for obvious reasons. That was Sekhmet, right? Of course it was. Okay. So while Drake does what he needs to do, I'm going to keep talking about the 3 of Swords. So the healing is going to change your outlook, your mood. It's going to absolutely help you feel happy, feel good, have a more positive outlook, have a more sunny outlook, and feel more grounded and centered, especially mentally and emotionally. Remember, swords would correlate to mental health matters. And since traditionally the 3 of Swords depicts 3 swords piercing a heart, the heart speaks to emotional healing. So, again, how healing will change things. Your mental health will improve. Your emotional health will improve. You will feel more hopeful. You'll feel more positive. You will begin to overcome the challenges that you've been experiencing of late. And the bottommost card is the Page of Swords. You know, I've said this for years. It never ceases to amaze me how when I'm conducting a reading, whether it is the pre-Mercury retrograde storm, whether it is a full-on Mercury retrograde transit like the one we're in now, or if it's the post-Mercury retrograde storm, the Page of Swords almost always, if not always, comes out. And for the record, I began feeling the pre-Mercury retrograde storm in mid to late February of this year. But if memory serves, we are in the first Mercury retrograde transit of 2024, the year of wealth and wisdom. And it began on Monday, April 1st. I know, April Fool's Day, right? And runs until Thursday, April 25th, 2024. It is a Mercury retrograde in Aries, by the way. And I would also say that for approximately 2.5 weeks after Thursday, April 25th, 2024, know that we are in the post-Mercury retrograde storm, which means, in simpler terms, that act as if Mercury is still retrograding, because technically it is, even though Mercury is transiting direct. And there you have it, lady. There you have it, everybody in YouTubeLand, all the folks in YouTubeLand. FOLX. I like that spelling as opposed to FOLKS. So I'm going to have Drake pan the camera back to me, because, you know, my video. I want to thank Llewellyn Publications for continuing to publish the Llewellyn's Tarot Calendars. I want to thank the Barbara Moore for continuing to write the insights, spreads, and tips in these calendars. Although if you already have Llewellyn's 2025 Tarot Calendar, you know that there is a different name that is associated with the person writing the insights, spreads, and tips, but I digress. And of course, I want to thank all of you in YouTube land for all the likes, all the comments, all the shares, and all the subscriptions to my YouTube channel. And as always, an extra big, extra beautiful, and extra bountiful thank you to all of you who have already scheduled your sessions. You have made April 2024 especially abundantly full, and I am most thankful. And with that being said, I have a feeling that May and June are going to be more abundantly full for my professional psychic practice than I currently realize. As always, stay in tune with your intuition, stay safe, stay well, stay hydrated, and stay tuned for the next video.